Ladies and gentlemen, what you normally hear in this time slot is the Not Too Late Show. It's a show in which history is the primary focus. But since the hosts have ADD, ADHD, and OCD, you might be distracted by other items of humorous persuasions that might find their way into the format. It's kind of like when you're driving through West Texas on a lone country road, and you see a sign that says, Historical Marker, 1 mile. And you slow down to see if there's a safe place to pull over the car, so that the kids might actually learn something like instead of playing video games in the back seat the entire time. But alas, you miss the sign to pull over somehow, and you slow down enough to see a turtle moving along in the shoulder. So you stop to have the kids look at the turtle, and one of them tries to pick it up, and you scream, "Stay away from that turtle! Don't touch that turtle! You've got no place to stop and wash your hands. Now look at you. Where you gonna wash your hands?" And the kids start crying. And of course, I could use a damn Valium after driving with whiny kids all afternoon. But I'll have to settle for the Not Too Late Show with our very special guest, William Wilberforce. Yay!
Well, hello everyone. This is Henry L. Never mind the bullion demand, and this is yet another edition of the lovely Not Too Late Show, broadcasting to you from the rooftop of Apple Studios, Savile Row, London. I have with me the lovely and talented blonde Kerry Kaufman.
Yo.
Today on the Not Too Late Show, we will play a round of Only Jerks Hate History and discuss some books we've read once, and give a mention to some of the things that happened on this day, February 2nd, throughout history. Now, Kerry Kaufman,
Yes?
sidekick, do you have anything you would like to announce?
Oh, sure, always. Well, first of all, I want to give a quick shout out to TFOK Radio in Oklahoma, who they air our pre-recorded episodes every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So go check out their station. They're at Spreaker, SPREAKER.com/JSPAZ Radio. And also make sure you check us out on Twitter and YouTube at Not Too Late Show. Since you're probably already at our website, nottoolateshow.com, please feel free to poke around and check out some of Hank's blogs and maybe even sign up for the newsletter. I also want you to check out, we have a new, totally awesome app that you can get on your iPod or your iPhone. It's a group of people put together an app called Soundscriber, where you can record, publish, stream audio tweets, and it's coming from a growing community. And guess what, Hank?
What?
We are a featured scriber. I just think it's really cool. You just open it up, and there we're right there on the front,
Right on the top.
We
huh?
are right on the top.
Well, how about that? It's about time.
So we're easy to find. So guys, go check out the app. I cannot wait to hear all your scribes. Finally, I want to give a quick mention to Dickey's Barbecue Pit. We just tasted their sandwiches.
Yes.
How'd you like them, by the way?
It was, I like that. It's a cornbread thing, right?
Yes, it's cornbread.
Yeah, I really dig that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was really impressed that they actually got a cornbread to stay
gel.
put.
Yes, I know. It's
and yet they had that crumbly still going on.
And it's definitely cornbread, and it definitely adds to it.
Well,
So.
Guess what? This episode is actually going to be sponsored in part by them. And they're running a contest right now so that you can vote on their new buttery cornbread sandwiches. Try to say that without drooling. The question they are asking is this: are you spicy or are you sweet? You can go vote on which you like more, the spicy chicken or the sweet pulled pork. And you know what the winner gets?
What's that?
Free barbecue for a year. You don't get much better than that.
So I guess the answers get pooled, and then they'll handpick somebody out of all of the responses. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Well, I'm torn with that because you know what my response is.
Well, yes, Marianne or Ginger.
Marianne and Ginger. Yeah. Well, why not both? They slept in the same room, so you know.
Moving right along. Now, kids eat free on Sundays. Go check them out. Try out their new sandwiches. Dickies.com/spicy or sweet. Vote for your favorite sandwich.
All right. Well, so that's all you got for announcements?
For now, you might want to stop me before I keep going.
Okay.
Hey, I could go all day.
Well, then do me a favor.
Okay, what's that?
Answer me this.
Okay.
What is this Twitter thing anyway?
Seriously, Hank. You're asking me? You are the guy that spends hours upon hours upon hours. Your wife is calling me on the phone. He's not off the Twitter thing again. Dude, you're twittering right now. Hank, you are the guy that spends hours upon hours. You read the tweets and you're tweeting the cat memes and the tweet jokes and the jokes about the tweets. And you're like, you tweeted a sex joke and then followed it up with scripture. I saw you.
Yeah, I'm just a well-rounded guy.
Oh, please.
And ladies, that doesn't mean fat. Mm-hmm. Wink, wink, LOL.
Yeah.
You can find my up-close and personal Twitter account at @not2, that's the number 2, Not Too Late Show, and find out what all the fuss is about. And then, of course, there's Not Too Late Show, TOO, which gives you updates, basic information about the show. Now, I know you can't see me right now, but I'm winking very hard.
I thought you had something in your eye.
In all seriousness, I include your not the part that you manage, not to, with TOO in my timeline. Mm-hmm. So you know that I am listening or watching or stalking or whatever sounds creepiest. All right, well, before we get to our first segment, how about a musical interlude?
I think we can definitely do that.
All right. Okay, so we're back, and now we can introduce our guest star from History's Annals.
Ew, that's gross. Anyway, Hank, our next guest contestant on Only Jerks Hate History was a politician in England's 18th century. He was a devout Christian and was among the most adamant British parliamentarians to petition for the abolition of slavery. From Yorkshire, England, we welcome William Wilberforce.
Amazing grace, oh, how sweet the sound.
Well, we have another William in our studio.
Oh, that must have been a popular name.
Yeah, probably more popular than Atticus. How do you do, Mr. Wilberforce?
I am well, although I'll have to admit I am a little bit shocked by your 21st century.
Yes, it shocks me sometimes, too, and I live here.
Oh, spend some time on YouTube. That'll jar your Christian sensibilities.
Tell me, Hank, I saw something before I came this way called Miley Cyrus. I'm afraid now there's a part of my soul I shan't get back.
Yeah, even the fallen feel that way.
Yes. I haven't digested something so farcical since Samuel Johnson ridiculed the campaign for Canada.
Well, now tell me, Bill, what motivated you to begin fighting the conventional commercial practices in Britain and begin drafting legislation to abolish slavery?
I had seen the inhuman cruelty exhibited by the English authorities on slave ships. I felt this was not the way the empire that spawned the Magna Carta and a legal system based on fairness and justice for all living beings should be depicted on the world stage.
So, I kind of gather from what you're saying that your countrymen didn't share this opinion?
It wasn't so much that they were opposed to the vulgar conditions, part and parcel, to the slave trade. It's that the slave trade had put food on their tables and stuffed goose down in their pillows for years. Unfortunately, the slaves earned nothing in return for their efforts. Adam Smith, the man who wrote Wealth of Nations in 1776, even said that an economic system so dependent upon cruelty could not endure.
Well, I agree. It took the U.S. a while to get our heads on straight, but hey, here we are in the 21st century.
You know, slavery still exists in other parts of the world in slightly different forms. We should give thanks for our Christian providence.
Hank, I don't think we've ever gotten this deep in 5 years.
Bill, I saw the movie that they made about you called Amazing Grace, and it featured two of my favorite actors, Albert Finney and Michael Gambon. It was a nicely done film, but I think the critics derided it for some inaccuracies. Based upon this criticism, you mean to tell me you weren't really as awesome as the film depicted?
If you are referring to my opium habit, the only response I can give to you is, dude!
Okay. All right.
Rock on. Yeah. All right, so you boys ready to play Only Jerks Hate History?
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay.
Well, being this is February, this week's theme is Black History Month. So the questions are going to reflect that. And so, Mr. Wilberforce, you're new, so you'll get to go first, and then followed up by Hank and see if he can come up with the right answer.
Okay.
And this will be a multiple guess. So the first question is, whose refusal to give up her seat on a public bus sparked a boycott of Montgomery? Oops, I can't see my whole question. Okay. So first question. Whose refusal to give up her seat on a public bus sparked a boycott of Montgomery, Alabama buses from 1955 to 1956?
Right. Multiple choice?
If you know the answer, you can go ahead and say it, or I can give you a multiple guess.
Rosa Parks.
All right, Hank?
I concur.
There you go. That's right. Ding, 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 ding. Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat to a white man, which resulted in a remarkable boycott of Montgomery buses, which was led by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. All right, good job, guys.
All right.
All right, so next question. Who was the most famous conductor of the Underground Railroad? I can give you...
Harriet Tubman.
All right, go for it, Hank.
What? Could you read me the multiple choice, please?
Sure. Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Beecher Stowe, or Maria Stewart?
Yeah, I concur.
Okay, it is Harriet Tubman. So I started off with some easy ones. Harriet Tubman was an escaped slave who made 19 trips back to the South in order to free over 300 people, despite a $40,000 reward that was on her head. All right.
Okay.
Next question. Who won 4 gold medals in the 1936 Olympics held in Berlin, Germany? Was it Jackie Joyner Kersee, Wilma Rudolph, Carl Lewis, or Jesse Owens?
Mr. Wilberforce?
Jesse Owens.
Okay. Hank?
I concur.
No, see, he's got the advantage. He's an abolitionist. You're just repeating everything he's saying.
I'm playing it smart.
You're taking the wuss way out.
Well, and actually, you know, that question actually is doubly easy because the first 3 names that you mentioned are not even of the same, even the same time period.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So,
they're not.
Yeah.
Well, Jackie, I mean, she's a contemporary. Isn't Jackie?
Well, I mean, like, you know, last 20, 30 years, yeah.
Oh, really?
Jesse Owens was from 36 Olympics.
Well, see, and I know like that much about sports.
Well, yeah.
So. Figure y'all would know.
In fact, we did talk about Jesse Owens briefly on a previous show about his about how he performed in Berlin during Hitler's Hitler's reign.
Yeah. Okay.
And there was some speculation about Hitler was getting pretty hacked off because there's a black guy beating his Aryan nation people. Yeah. And that he stormed off. And actually, there was an article that came out, I think, in the UK Guardian a few years ago that said that Jesse Owens talked about that event, and that he was like, "Well, no, we like shook hands or something,
really
behind the scenes or whatever." And he was, he congratulated me.
So Hitler was cordial.
He was cordial. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, not defending Hitler, of course. He was a very bad man.
Yeah, kind of like Obama was cordial to Castro's brother.
Oh, Raul.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
You didn't hear about that?
Nah.
Okay.
Well, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. If it's exactly the same thing. Sports, politicians, whatever. But
anyways,
I thought we weren't going to talk about Obama.
I just like seeing you squirm. Get that look in your eye, that little gleam. Okay.
No, it's a show about history.
Anyways. All right, so
20 years from now, we can talk about them all we want, right?
Yeah, I'm sure you want to. You still talk about them anyways. Next question. All right, so what boxers...
4 questions. Oh, okay, all right.
Well, yeah, I decided...
I thought that was the elaboration question. Okay, go ahead.
Was it? I did originally tell you that. Well,
That's okay. That's
well,
all right.
this one was voted in.
Okay,
So,
all right.
What boxer's original name is Cassius Clay?
His original name is Cassius Clay.
Right.
Yeah.
Who? So the
Muhammad Ali.
That is correct.
Muhammad Ali. Yes. All right.
All right.
So everybody gets a golden star. All right. Awesome.
All right. Well, where are we? Okay, well, I reckon we can take another break. And then when we come back, we'll look at this day in February 2nd history with History Strikes Back. All right, we are back. And now it is time again for History Strikes Back.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! This is February 2nd, 2014. So some of the things that I jotted down, this is where I take stuff from, from some of my research. I have a list of timelines, I guess you can say, that I look for on the internet. And if something strikes my interest or fancy, I'll do a little bit more research and look for books and such. Anyway, February 2nd. Enough blah blah blah. February 2nd, Charles is crowned king, 1626, and he's part of the English Civil War, right?
Very good.
Yes. So, were you a fan of Charles, or were you a fan of Oliver Cromwell?
I love Cromwell.
Oh, good. Well, bully for you.
All right.
Man's got his opinions.
The Battle of Lincoln, another English history thing from 1141, which was a very peculiar battle. It involved I guess a guy named Stephen and a queen, I think. I don't know.
Now, assume they're not talking about Abraham Lincoln.
I tried. Yes, exactly right. It's 1141.
Where does the Lincoln come from?
That's why I was so curious about it. I was like, Lincoln. Oh, there's something older than Lincoln himself. That's called Lincoln. I did a wee bit of research on it, but I am so bloody confused by English history sometimes. It takes a while to figure it out.
But there was a battle, and it was at some place called Lincoln, and it was in 1141. There you go.
In 1829. Okay, a lot of people were making a big deal out of the snow,
Yes.
in Cairo, right?
Yes, right.
Global warming. Ooh. Well, you know what? In 829 A.D., the Nile was frozen over.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. And,
Oh, my word.
Yep. There are a couple of reasonable sources that quote the event, and it's pretty
How did
interesting.
they find out? From scrolls or?
Yeah, just somebody made note of it. I mean,
Yeah.
when you write it down,
It was really cold.
If you lived in Egypt,
There was white stuff everywhere. We had no idea what to do.
oh, it's so hot. Oh, it's so hot. Oh, it's cold. It's cold today.
Oh, my
I
word.
better write it down. Buenos Aires was founded in 1536.
Aires?
Is that how you say it?
Buenos Aires.
Aires?
Aires.
Okay.
Got to put a little I in
It's
there.
not
Aires.
It's not Aires?
Aires? No, there's no accent on it.
Oh, all right.
I don't think so.
Aires. Have you been there?
No.
No.
I've not
Okay.
been to South America.
How about you, William Wilberforce?
I have not.
No? All right.
I have not.
Beautiful women there. So
All right, so have you been there? Obviously you have, or you've been poring over pictures. Leslie, are you listening to this? Right,
the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, change subject quickly. 1848 is a very significant date as far as Texas history is concerned. It was when Texas really won over Mexico. That was when Santa Anna signed. That was the treaty that he signed, and he signed over Texas and made it official. So,
Signed Texas over to the U.S. or to Mexico?
to the U.S.
To the U.S. Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it became.
So he did it at gunpoint, or he wasn't a nice guy.
I don't think he had to do it at gunpoint. I think he was just so dang broke that it was like
spent all his money on this war.
Yeah. I have to pay for my silver, or else they take it away. They caught him in his underpants at San Jacinto, right?
Yeah, I read that in your revision. That's awesome.
He was never going to live that down. And then from 1920, we have the Treaty of Tartu.
Are you serious?
Okay.
I don't think that's quite the same thing.
Yes, it had nothing to do with Hervé Villachez. It was regarding the Ukraine. I believe Tartu is in the Ukraine, and it was when the Ukraine declared more or less declared independence because the Russia or the Soviet Union Russia had turned into the Soviet Union and gone commie, and so some of the other states surrounding Russia were not interested in becoming commie, so this is one of the treaties that,
that's cool.
declared their independence.
Yeah, it's like we don't want no part of that.
Yeah.
Good for them.
I'll be very embarrassed if it's not the Ukraine, but
Well, that was shortly after World War I.
yeah, I didn't write it down. Yes, exactly, and that was one of the reasons why they were hasty to do that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, because I remember reading somewhere that right after, in fact, it was that History Is Now magazine that you've got an article in that.
Yeah.
And their first article in there is about the Freikorps. And right after World War, I learned something. Right after World War I, there are a couple of countries started to look at communism and say, hey, this might be a bright idea. And a lot of people were like, no way, no how,
Don't do it.
Right. And yeah. Okay, now I'm talking about Germany, not the Ukraine, but yeah, that's all a different thing.
Sure. I'm trying to. You know what? I am baffled. I have my February 2nd historyorb.com reference in front of me, but I don't have anything circled. Why did I not do that?
Because it's your turn to make the mistake.
I must have done one of these twice. Then I must have done February 9th twice.
Oh, it's February 2nd, Hank.
Yeah, I know, but
okay.
I do these in a pattern. I try to make things easy for myself. Oh, anyway, just making it more difficult, right?
Right.
All right. Complicate matters. That's me. Let's complicate matters. Let me think here. Let me see what I've got here. Zorillas, in 1637, February 2nd, Zorillas El Mas Impropio Verdugo para las premieres in Madrid. Did you happen to see that one, Wilberforce?
Never did.
No? Ever been to Madrid?
Never have.
And don't care to.
So they didn't have that one at the Globe Theater, I guess, huh?
Never did.
No? All right.
So why haven't you been to Madrid? It's such a beautiful place to go.
Not my cup of tea.
Oh, okay. Actually, I don't think they serve tea over there. They got great tapas. Anyways, moving right along.
In 1848, the first shipload of Chinese arrived in San Francisco. Like Chinese food? I mean, what is that? I'm assuming Chinese people?
First shipment of Chinese. What?
This just says first shipment load of Chinese. I mean, that. And oh, tacky joke. No tacky joke.
Gosh,
withhold tacky joke.
No, okay. TFOK is listening to us. Tell them the tacky joke. They want to hear the tacky joke. Donna, you want to hear the tacky joke, right?
All right. In 1848, the first shipload of Chinese arrived in San Francisco, and they haven't stopped since.
Oh, that's nearly as bad as I thought you were going to
do. The first leopard was exhibited in the U.S. in Boston, admission 25 cents in 1802.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. What else do we have
25
here?
cents, huh?
That's what it said.
Now they scalp you, but...
In 1887, in Punxsutawney, I'm never able to say it right. In Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, the first Groundhog Day is observed.
What year was that?
1887.
Really?
Yeah.
It's been that long, huh?
In 1926, 3 men danced the Charleston for 22 hours. Wow, that's deep.
Why? Were they trying to break a record, or?
Well, I would assume so. I assume it's one of those. They used to have them dancing contests all the time.
That's a hard dance to do for any length of time because you're using your legs.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, and 3 men. I guess their dates didn't quite got it pooped out.
Oh, so that's okay, dear. You go.
I don't know if there's much else in here. Let me see. 1940, Frank Sinatra's singing debut in Indianapolis.
Oh, okay.
And and in 1949, the golfing champ Ben Hogan was seriously injured in an auto accident. I carried Ben Hogan's golf clubs. Did you know that?
Who's Ben Hogan?
Okay,
I'm not going to leave right now. I was about to die.
Oh my goodness! All right, you just harshed my marshmallow.
Who has Ben Hogan? I know he's a golfer, obviously.
He was a golfer, and he was from Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, okay.
And he was quite a champion golfer. He won several tournaments. I mean, he was like, I'm trying to remember if it was him that holds the record that still holds the record that Tiger Woods has been trying to break. It has something to do with consecutive wins, and I don't know. He won some ungodly number of golf championships.
And you
in a row.
carried his golf clubs.
Yes, he played at he would practice at Shady Oaks Country Club in Fort Worth, and I was a young man, and we would clean their clubs, take them off the carts, and and cart them around. And
you were a caddy.
I was a caddy for part of the time, not for Hogan specifically, but I knew a guy who was one of the guys that I worked for was a caddy for him, and Ben Hogan did not tip.
Wow!
If there's one thing I remember about Ben Hogan, he did not tip.
You carried his bags, and that's what you remember about Ben Hogan. That's the guy who doesn't tip, just so you know.
So
that's cool.
You play much golf, Wilberforce?
What is golf?
Good as golf. That's right. You're from Yorkshire, not Scotland.
Right. Yeah. He does rugby.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so that's there we have it. That is February 2nd in history, courtesy of me and historyorb.com. So now I guess we'll move on to the next segment. Now it's time for book club. We don't have a theme song for book club because I think Kerry's just now learning about book club.
I'm just now learning about book club. I could probably use the Fight Club theme song.
Hey,
want me to dig that up?
Whatever. So anyway, so what is the first rule of book club?
Always talk about book club.
That's correct.
There we go.
All right, so let's start.
So
anyway, go ahead.
So, what books are you reading, Hank?
Well, I downloaded a book to my Kindle for like $1.25 called Samuel Rawson Gardiner's Oliver Cromwell, Annotated, from 1902. And there's been one reason I wanted to talk about this book is because there's been a revival of sorts regarding Cromwell, the guy left in charge of the aftermath of the English Civil War, and he was pretty much the English Civil War.
Okay.
And I'd always been interested in him since I was a kid, and I looked into a couple of articles and more things, recent. And he was known as the Lord Protector of the Commonwealth of England. And I've discovered that many of our contemporary historians are trying to make him out to be a power-hungry zealot.
Oh, imagine that.
All right. So what I did was I downloaded this book from over 100 years ago and documented his life. And I think what some of these new historians are failing to see or explain thoroughly is that Charles, the king, Charles I, had pretty much entrenched himself and really believed that he was like, king as spokesman for God. Mm-hmm. And he was stubborn also. So
that didn't help.
It's bad enough when you like being king, right? But then when somebody's like trying to usurp your power, you got to kind of have to.
You got to usurp right back.
Well, that had been the general practice, but attitudes and philosophies, and particularly in Scotland, it had been changing for a couple of centuries already. So, the other issue, of course, was you throw religion into it, and Charles was essentially Catholic, and stuck with that divine right of kings thing, and he wasn't really into liberated thinking. And he consequently lost his head.
His thinking was liberated then.
Yeah.
It's one way to do it.
So much for liberated thinking. So anyway, but a lot of these post 1930 scholars that I've read tend to deride Cromwell for this act of revenge. But I think Cromwell was kind of Charles had a pretty powerful army, and as did Cromwell. And I think Cromwell's theory was, well, you got to cut off the head of the snake, so that people will stop following this guy.
Yeah.
And it didn't really do very well for Cromwell, because I think a few years later he was strung up, and his head was at the top of some cathedral, I think, for probably 200 years until it fell off in a storm.
Now
we've talked about this before about in the context of John the Baptist and
yes, that whole diatribe.
Someday I'll actually do a segment or focus on Oliver Cromwell's head. That'll be fun.
Now, the movie Oliver, was it based on the life of this Oliver that you're referring to? Seriously.
No. Oliver was he was a kid.
Oh, different one. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you're a song and dance person. You know Oliver, right?
I just remember a cute little boy and lots of troubled times and people being really mean, and he was really mean, and I don't know, maybe he grew up to be really mean. I don't know. Leave me alone. Wow.
Oh, goodness.
It was a good movie, though.
Well, yeah, I won an Academy Award.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks as if we'll on that happy note about Oliver Cromwell and Oliver, we'll end this edition of the Not Too Late Show. It's now history.
Ladies and gentlemen, especially the ones with the kids, be sure to read to your young kids every night or after school to keep their brains stimulated and their hearts strong. And don't be afraid to read something to them that might be a grade level or two above their current level of maturity. You never know what they might take an interest in. This is Keisha Carson on behalf of the Not Too Late Show. God bless and good night.
They just want